Howdy folks, Brian Cusco here at Triple B, and today and for the following month or so we're going to be doing interviews here at the Roseville Reptile Show outside of Sacramento. And our first guest today is Mr. Brian Fontaine of Morph Evolution. Brian is a fantastic human being, has been working professionally with snakes for a long time, and he's going to sit down and show us some animals, and we're just going to do it like we do, Triple B TV style. And that's what you're watching, Triple B TV.
So, I have had a passion for snakes for quite some time. In fact, since I was in elementary school, I did book reports on it. I was in the library constantly, just doing all the research I could. My biggest fascination was 6th grade. My teacher had an iguana, green iguana, beautiful big green iguana in her classroom. And she was like, well, you're the only person that shows interest in this thing. Do you want to take it home for 2 weeks for Christmas vacation? And I was like, yes, please, by all means. So I took it home.
You were the only kid in the class that was interested in the iguana?
Yes, but I was so fascinated with it. I took it out, I put it on a leash. Recess, I took it out, hung out with it.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Ramona Intermediate School in Laverne. It's SoCal here down the street.
Okay.
And so I took it home for 2 weeks, and like I said, Brian, I did all the research I could with it, and still was doing more research and more research and more research. By the end of...
You were how old?
I was probably 6th grade. I was probably...
Okay.
11, 12, 13, in that range, and ever since then it just took off. And then 8th grade, I did more book reports on snakes and anatomies and things like that. And then junior high and high school, and I was so fascinated with biology, and just kind of took off from there. I picked up my very first pair of snakes when I turned 18, because my parents were like, no, you can't have snakes. And a pair of boas is what I picked up, and I bred them, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. I need to keep doing this. By the time I was 25, I made a full-time business. I'm over 20 years. I've been doing this for over 20 years.
You've been full-time snake breeding business for the past 20 years?
Yeah, it's on a low scale, but I started to pick things up here and there. And I got into ball pythons, and just that was my love for it, And I started breeding ball pythons on a lower scale, like I said. And I've had monitors. I've had iguanas and bearded dragons, of course, and different types of snakes. And it's funny, I had a pair of probably 16, 17-footer tiger head albino reticulated pythons. And it took 3 of us, to clean them and feed them and things like that. And I kind of gave up on them because it was too much for me. I'm physically handicapped. I have spinal bifida. But I have a passion for this, you know what I mean? And I have no limitations. I don't care what it is.
You didn't let it stop you from walking back and forth 17 times?
No, not at all.
Grab the snakes
not
and
at all.
Grab bags?
No, not at all. I'm pretty mobile when it comes to...
Yeah, you're certainly mobile, man. You get
absolutely,
around.
absolutely. And I don't let anything get to me at all,
Yeah, that's awesome.
It is my life, and I go through it every day. And like I said, snakes is what gets me through the day.
What was your process from going from being somebody who's very interested in snakes, having a passion for them, doing all the research, to full-time business? It's a full-time business? This is your full-time thing?
It is a full-time. This is what I do. And I work for a part-time for a friend of mine's reptile store.
But still, reptiles.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. It's all the time, 24/7 reptiles.
How did you go from reading books about them, having them, keeping them, to business?
Just hands-on. I just started collecting things that I really wanted in my collection, and really, I was pounding. In fact, one of my favorite guys is Randy Wright. One of the legends. He's doing colubrids and Gila monsters. He was out there in Rancho Cucamonga. I bought my first king snake from him when I was 22 years old, and he showed me his little place, his warehouse, and I was so fascinated, dude. I was in awe. I really was in awe. And like I said, I started collecting things, pairs and things to breed. And back then it wasn't like we had all the equipment we had. I mean, back then it was, fish tanks and
heat rocks.
And heat rocks, and over the heater lamps, and you didn't know really how to take care of them. But in fact, I had almost the very first blood python imported female, and all she would eat was chicks, small chicks. I couldn't get her to eat rats or anything like that, it was an experience. You know what I mean? He just went through the process. But like I said, little by little, I started to collect more animals and more animals. And you know how well that goes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it
goes,
just
goes well.
It goes hand in hand. You know, you go 1 or 2, and you go 5 or 6, and you go 70, 80, and 200. You know,
I haven't hit 100 yet.
it accumulates really fast.
I'm trying to do it slowly.
It's super fast.
Let's see the animals you got here.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. So this here is a
Reticulated python.
reticulated python.
And
This
it's
is a golden-
orange ghost stripe Goldenchild?
Correct.
All right.
Correct. He's one of my favorites. I just love the color. And he's totally patternless. And that head stamp is just awesome. Get that head stamp in there if I could. He's a wiggly one.
Here, Snakey, let's see that head.
That's it.
There it is. There's that OGS GC.
Yes, sir. And he's super mellow. He's super, super mellow.
Yeah, definitely mellow. What's the stock? Like, what's the lineage?
Hell Creek Herbicultural. I picked up some animals from him a while back, and these are one of them.
I always wonder if it comes from, like, prehistoric pets, because, I mean, Jay definitely is known for having very
I'm not
docile.
entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure where the stock came from, but he's got these beautiful iridescent color.
I just know I've heard people always talk about, like, the snakes from prehistoric pets just tend to be super docile because they're, you know, how many generations in now from the wild they are, and then
Correct.
all the experience that all those animals have with the public and, like,
Right.
being
handled all the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, nothing not to like about a golden. And then the great thing about orange ghost stripe, of course, is that it's homozygous, and if you pair it with a super phantom, you make it all cows.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
And that'll be the next.
and Goldenchild in a cow, it
In the
seems
cow.
to look pretty
It does.
phenomenal.
It makes it super colorful.
Gotta love the iridescence on these snakes,
Absolutely.
man.
Absolutely.
Freaking fantastic.
And he's super mellow. I mean, he's like, pick me up, pick me up.
Gotta love it, dude. A well-raised reticulated python
Absolutely.
is a thing of beauty, man.
Absolutely.
Speaking of cows, I know you got a cow in the bag.
I do.
Let's take a look at that.
I do. He is a little larger. He's super, super mellow. I have been handling him for quite some time, playing with him and well fed. This animal is also
Whoa.
possible tiger.
Okay.
Not entirely sure, but I'm confident that he probably is, the way his spots are coming out and the striping.
Yeah, that stripe is what made me. I looked at it, I was like, what is happening with that stripe? He must be tiger.
He must be tiger, yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm not 100% sure yet until
Yeah, cow
I
is
breed
one
him
of
up.
those things that's so powerful, it kind of
correct.
dominates everything.
Dominates
happening.
everything, yeah. But he's just super mellow.
The eyes are definitely an interesting shade. Because
Right.
cows tend to have kind of a bluish eye, do they not?
Right. So that's what makes me think he's got the tiger influence in him.
Some of the color palette here, the shades of the cream and the yellow remind me a lot. I have a lavender genetic stripe
Okay.
that is possible tiger,
Mhm.
but most likely tiger because it's got that little bend halfway down the tongue. where it
Wow,
flicks its
okay.
tongue out. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm thinking that she is tiger. And then,
Right.
But the way this animal looks is, I mean, tiger's the only thing they have in common.
Right.
But that look made me think
Correct.
about that.
Yeah. That's awesome. But he's just super chill.
Yeah, super chill. Look at that.
You know,
man.
I took him to Vegas with me to the Vegas show, and he was the crowd favorite. I mean, I had little kids that never touched snakes before, really just like, oh my god, I want to touch that, I want to touch it. So he was definitely the star of the show. He's, like I said, his head coloring is really pretty.
Man, I love the way their eyes are.
Yeah.
You know, when I first reticulated pythons were some of the first snakes that I really noticed the eyes moving inside their socket.
Right.
A lot of snakes do it. Even I recently even looked and was like, even the ball pythons are able to move their eyes inside their socket,
Right.
which you never really notice because you don't see their pupil as defined.
Correct.
But yeah, retics just like you just see that eye looking around, gives it such a cool dragon.
And they're super curious, constantly 24/7. They're very intelligent animals.
until it's time to feeding.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Suck your hand in a rat and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, that looks good.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude.
But he was the showstopper.
Yeah, I bet.
And I do
Look at this
have-
little spot right here. That's such an interesting looking. It's like a multicolored That one
Here?
yeah, that one right there is like it's got
Blue and green
orange
and
green.
orange. Yep.
So
And a black in the
cool,
middle.
dude. That's it looks like a little from here. It looks like a fish.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I know he's got a couple more. In fact, here's another one.
So interesting.
Yeah, here's another different colored one, right here.
Yeah, it's interesting, man.
Very.
That's a very cool looking cow, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of my favorites. Oh, come here, guys.
I know you got one more
I
slapping
do.
around in there.
Actually, this is one animal you don't see very much in the industry is a Anthill Python, smallest pythons in the world, and I have a pair.
Yeah, you don't see these much at all.
No.
And obviously, these are in the same genus as children's pythons and spotted pythons.
Correct. Correct. And these are pure anthills.
Is it the look that lets you know that it's a pure anthill, or is it just that you know that the stock came from?
The stock where it came from. I have all lineage and everything.
They do look similar. It
Correct.
definitely doesn't look like a children's python. I mean,
No.
it looks a lot like a children's python,
Right.
to be fair.
Spotted,
For
children's.
someone that doesn't really see
Correct.
a lot of the species.
But it's also the coloring.
Yes, it's much more red.
Right. More bronze.
Is that maybe because they're closer to the red center as far as their origin?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Speaking of the continent of Australia,
Australia.
obviously.
Right.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I think that we got to. I don't know that we found it in Anthill when we were over there herping. I think we may have. So we definitely found a spotted python, but
Okay.
we didn't find an anthill over there. So even there in the bush there, they're wow, super cool, man.
And these are the world's smallest pythons. These are great.
You know what I
Like,
love about them is that they're small. And
Yeah.
people think pythons are huge, and
Yeah.
you're like, well, look at this.
You know, and it's, I mean,
And this is an adult right here, right?
yes, it's a proven breeder. So I've been working with these for quite a while, and like I said, I do have a pair, so I'm hoping to breed them again this year. I mean, what a great animal to have for, such a small area.
Yeah.
You don't need a very big tank at all. I mean, 20-gallon long is as big as you're going to need, and set up a desert type of enclosure and enjoy it.
With little spots of burrow, I imagine, for some humidity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
That's one thing I think that sometimes I think it's becoming more and more common knowledge, thankfully, in the hobby. But that a desert setup often means having a spot for them to get into a humid area. 'cause,
Correct.
They have that nice hot basking
Hot
area
basking area.
outside, but then
Right.
have that nice spot they can dig underneath.
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
get that humidity they need.
Absolutely.
Cool, man.
I know you're loose. You're out.
He's like,
Okay.
I'm going. I
I'm
want to go
running-
back in
I'm
the
run-
bag.
I'm running
Put
around.
me
That's
back
it.
in the bag. The
That's
lights
it.
are too bright out here. Well, dude, it's an honor for me to have you come and sit down, dude.
It is an absolute honor to be here, sitting here with you.
You've been. It can't be that all people named Brian are super awesome. That can't be it.
No.
Can it?
No.
It's not that case.
It's just
right?
us two.
It's just us two.
That's us two.
Just us two.
That's it.
No other Brians
No,
out there.
not at all. They're shunned.
Hi, Mr. Gundy. There's a.
Sorry, Brian.
You should be sorry, Brian.
I am. I'm very sorry. Okay, there's 3 of us. Even the snake's like, no.
No, honestly, from the first time I met you, man, you've just been nothing but a good, solid ball energy and
Absolutely.
pure love coming out of your heart, man.
You know,
so,
it's funny, Brian, that you say that. Every day is a struggle with me, getting out of bed,
I can imagine.
going to bed. I'm in pain 24/7 because of my condition. But my love for animals and reptiles, that's what covers it. That's what takes care of it. You know what I mean? As long as I'm concentrating on what I love, nothing else matters. I've caught my calling, and I can't do too many more things. I'm 46 now. I'm going to be 46. I've definitely got my calling, and I love what I do, and it's very easy for me to do. Like I said, it's not easy for me to get out of bed. It's not easy for me to go to bed, but I push myself every day to do it, and that's what makes me go.
We're doing a hell of a job, man.
Thank you very
Freaking
much.
Blessed me to be here today, my
Thank
friend.
you. No,
And every time I see you, honestly, it's
Absolutely.
a big blessing to see you. Dude.
absolutely, I
Seriously.
appreciate you very much.
Thank you, man.
This is awesome. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
this is a treat, bro. Trust me.
That's
this
a
is
treat for me, man.
big treat. Super treat. I'm like, there's Brian.
That's how I feel when I see you. Seriously. Big thank you to Brian for sitting down with us today. As we've been doing with all of our guests, we're going to sit down in a Zoom call right as soon as this premiere is over. So there's a link down in the description if you want to join us with any one of our guests after the show is over and sit down and have some Q&A with Brian. Fantastic human being, somebody I highly recommend all of you get to know a little better if you don't already. And that's it. There's also a link down in the description where you can find all of Brian's information if you want to get a hold of him about different species. He works with a lot of cool things, tied in with the community very, very nicely. Very, again, obviously a fantastic human being. Somebody good to know. Yeah, and until next week, we're going to be sitting down with Mr. Jimmy Cruz of Ball Life, whose booth I am sitting right behind. And we'll see you then. Bye.
I know.
Oh, dude,
Ugh.
it was so weird to have a mask.
Well,
That's
that
where I
too.
was at. I don't know if this is, let's see. I don't know if I'm too far to that side, you're too far to this side.
Do you want me to scoot in? I can scoot
No,
in.
no, you're good, you're good. Be comfortable. I want you to be comfortable. And as long as we're both in the shot, that's all that matters.
Okay.
Oh, my table's a little wobbly.
It is a little bit.
Check, 1, 1, 2, 2, check, 3, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 9, 9, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10.
Say that 10 times fast.
I can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Where am I? Here I am. Oh, I got you in the shot. Yeah, I see you. Ooh, I'm all fluffy today. Hillary likes it like that.